Coming up on Hoosier Sports Nite, football secures their first Big Ten win of the season against Wisconsin, keeping their bowl eligibility hopes alive. We'll break down the tight matchup.
And men's basketball debuted their regular season squad in Assembly Hall. We'll give you the key moments from Tuesday's matchup. This is Hoosier Sports Nite.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier Sports Nite. I'm Riley Woodall.
And I'm Hayley Adams. Riley, with our win in football last weekend, what do you think our eligibility is for the bowl?
Well, they're playing the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten, but Indiana is also the bottom of the barrel of the Big Ten. So I don't know. I've learned as an IU fan to not get my hopes up, but you never know. Maybe they'll do it, and maybe Tom Allen gets himself one. We'll see. But speaking of football, Indiana football keeps their bowl eligibility hopes alive with a 20-14 victory over Wisconsin on Saturday. Join our Gwen Parks for a quick recap of the Hoosiers' first Big Ten win of the season.
Indiana football ended a 4-game losing streak with a 20-14 victory over Wisconsin, securing their first Big Ten win on the season. Indiana's defense had one of their best performances yet, holding the Badgers to 50 total yards in the first, set the tone for the entire match, even in the closing minutes. Aaron Casey was a defensive standout today with 9 tackles, including 4 tackles for loss and a forced fumble, which earned him the game ball from Coach Allen.
It's what you need in a game like this. You need those guys to step up and make those kind of plays. I just gave him the game ball in the locker room there. Without even knowing all those stats, I saw it live in person. I knew it was pretty special the way he helped. But it's everything. It's the leadership. A couple weeks ago he didn't play very well, and he took ownership for that. And he came and we talked, and he's just a special person. And he's the leader of our defense. He's the leader of our team. And he's not up for giving many speeches, but he doesn't need to. He just needs to play like that and let his play do the talking. But he definitely verbally leads the defense when he's on the field. So just really, you got to have your best player step up and play really well in games like this, in a game that you have to win, and against a really good team. So proud of him, proud of all the guys around him.
I'm just proud of how everybody fought, I know how much went into this week, how much everybody put into this game, and just being able to come out with a victory it's full circle.
Indiana has to head into the next 3 games with the same mentality they did today, playoff mentality.
This is win or go home. It's that simple. None of us want to go home. We want to go to a bowl game, be bowl eligible. So it's that simple. Want to go home.
Indiana, now 3-6 on the season, only needs 3 more wins to be bowl eligible. The key will be if the defense can maintain this performance and if Brendan Swordsby in the offense continues to improve. The Hoosiers next hit the road to take on Illinois next Saturday, another must-win for Indiana. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Gwen Parks.
Next, the Hoosiers hit the road this Saturday to take on the Fighting Illini at noon.
The Indiana women's soccer team wrapped up their best regular season since 2013. The Hoosiers finished the season with a 12-2-4 record. The record helped them clinch a 5th seed in the Big Ten Conference Tournament, but they lost in the quarterfinals 3-0 to Penn State. But the Hoosiers racked up Big Ten awards, which consisted of Jamie Gustenberg winning Big Ten Keeper of the Year for IU, the first in program history. In addition, she earned Big Ten First Team honors while having 10 shoutouts on the year, an Indiana program record. IU forward Paige Weber joined Gustenberg on the Big Ten First Team with 12 goals. Freshman defender Piper Cofield earned a spot in the Big Ten All-10 freshman team as defender, and sophomore Olivia Albert won the team's sportsmanship award. Indiana punched their ticket this past weekend to the NCAA tournament. They play this Sunday in St. Louis against the 6th seed Billikens at 8 p.m.
The Indiana men's soccer team took on the Michigan Wolverines in the semifinal game of the Big Ten tournament. Our Kara Adams has the recap.
The Indiana men's soccer team is headed to their 7th straight Big Ten championship game on Sunday.
This is what we play for here at IU and why we come here to IU. So I think just staying focused. We're not telling ourselves we're getting into a groove, but obviously it's giving us confidence to score. But I think right now we just focus game by game, and we're doing a good job with that.
Indiana defeated Michigan 4-3 in a thriller at Bill Armstrong. Malum Gumbale was key to this Indiana squad, adding 2 goals to Indiana's 4-3 win.
He has been, obviously it's like you need like a Mr. November. It's like he was into October and November. So unlocking Maloon, and he played really well outside of the goals. I mean, he really physically gave us some attacks and was able to drive and create some crosses and hold them. I mean, just a lot of it. It was a comprehensive game. I would have said he had a good game if he hadn't have scored.
Hugo Bacharach and Tommy Mahalik also added the other 2 goals for tonight's win.
This is a unique game with back and forth, some of the goals, the atmosphere, everything. Obviously, there's a lot on the line. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a really good one right now.
Indiana will take on Penn State, a team they narrowly beat during regular season on Sunday. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Kara Adams.
Indiana will look to win their 16th Big Ten tournament on Sunday in Bloomington.
From soccer to volleyball we go. The Indiana volleyball team currently sits at 17-10 on the season after going 1-3 on its most recent 4-game road trip. Last weekend, Indiana beat Rutgers on Friday night before falling to Ohio State in Columbus on Saturday. As the regular season begins to wind down, the Hoosiers will be back in Bloomington for 2 home matches this weekend. Indiana hasn't played a home match inside of Wilkinson Hall since October 21st. Indiana gets the weekend started with a Friday night matchup with Rutgers before hosting Minnesota on Sunday. And coming up after the break, we crown this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week.
And men basketball has their first regular season game in Assembly Hall. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night. Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night.
Joining us in studio for this week's Hoosier Highlight is IUSTV sports reporter Jet Garrett. Jet?
Thanks, Riley. The Indiana football team kept their bowl hopes alive, and it was largely due to our Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week, Aaron Casey. Casey was a game record this past Saturday, tallying 4 TFLs as well as 2 sacks. He also led the Hoosiers with 9 tackles and was a force in the run game. This outstanding performance was good enough to earn Casey Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week honors this week. This is yet another accomplishment for the 5th-year senior, adding to his 5.5 sack season while also having 2 forced fumbles. Expect to see him dominating the gridiron on Sundays in the near future. Aaron Casey and the Hoosiers look to keep bowl eligibility alive this Saturday as they travel to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Fighting Illini. That's all for this week's Hoosier Highlight Athlete of the Week. Back to you.
Hey, thanks, Jet. The Indiana men's basketball team opened its season against FGCU on Tuesday night. I have the recap from Assembly Hall. After 2 dominant exhibition wins, Indiana men's basketball welcomed the FGCU Eagles to Assembly Hall for its opening act of the 2023 season. But it wasn't the win Hoosier fans were expecting.
We hold them to 63 points, and that's kind of in the ballpark where we want to be from a defensive standpoint, but it was all the miscues on the backside of our defense that we just weren't executing. And I gotta get that fixed and clean it up.
While players like Khalil Ware and Trey Galloway had standout performances, the supporting cast lagged behind.
My concern is CJ and Caleb and McKenzie, because all 3 of those guys are capable of scoring too. So when they're in the game, I gotta get them comfortable, number one, and they gotta figure out what the hell we're doing from a defensive standpoint.
The offense was clicking at some points, and the defense looked impenetrable at others. But the name of the game for the Hoosiers moving forward is consistency for 40 minutes.
It was a good job down the stretch of finding ways to get stops, but it's got to be the whole game. No matter what lineup it is, we got to do a better job on the defensive end and know our coverages and know what we need to do. I mean, obviously, we got to be better and to not put ourselves in that position, but to be able to climb out of that and come out with the win was huge for us.
Indiana's young and inexperienced squad has plenty of room for improvement, but the Hoosiers have the talent necessary to hit their stride as the season goes on. For IUSTV Sports, I'm Riley Woodall. And the Hoosiers will be back in action on Sunday as they welcome Army to Bloomington. Tip-off is at 7.
The Indiana men's tennis team competed in singles and doubles Big Ten championship this past weekend. The Hoosiers sent 8 players each to the tournament, with each athlete participating in both singles and doubles. In singles, senior Jagger Saylor defeated Penn State in the opening round, along with fellow teammate sophomore Kanash Kumar, who secured 2 wins during consolation matches. In doubles, the duo of Bashvar-Eddy and Saylor showcased their talents as they picked up an impressive win against Wisconsin, which propelled them to the quarterfinal round. The team of Andre and Tiraspolsky notched 2 wins in the consolation matches as well. The tournament concludes a successful fall season for the Hoosiers as they will pick up the pace again in spring of 2024. Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe Calendar Report is IUSTV sports reporter Victoria Remrev. Victoria?
Thanks, Haley. We've got an action-packed schedule ahead, so let's dive right into the upcoming events for the Hoosiers. The women's tennis team is heading to Jacksonville for the North Florida Fall Invite from Friday to Sunday. They'll be serving up some fierce competition on the courts. Friday follows with the volleyball team taking on Rutgers at 7 p.m. and the women's soccer team goes on the road to face St. Louis University in the NCAA tournament. The football team is facing the University of Illinois in Champaign on Saturday as well. The women's basketball team is back in action on Sunday, this time facing off against Stanford in California. And for the men's basketball fans, don't forget to mark your calendars for November 12th as they take on Army. And that's a wrap for this week's Candy Stripe Calendar. I'm Victoria Remrev. Back to you at the desk.
And that's our show for the week. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports to keep up with all the latest in IU athletics. For our production crew behind us, I'm Hayley Adams.
And I'm Riley Woodall. We'll see you next week.